Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we're going to be looking at War Machine. This is the first War Machine figure we've gotten, or that we had gotten from Marvel Legends. This is built on the same Iron Man body that we've seen for the yellow and red one, the yellow and gold one, and the red and silver one, and the blue and red one. So they reused this body a lot. It's the same body that Magneto used for the most part. And it's not my favorite. I really don't care for it too much. The joints are pretty ugly and it's got kind of weird proportions, but this is a really cool War Machine figure nonetheless. It comes loaded with accessories, 2 things for the feet, 2 things for the hands, 1 for the gun, a missile launcher thingy, missiles, the faceplate comes off. This guy is all you could ask for. He is a perfect example of how Marvel Legends should be made and packaged and sold and designed. So this is a great example of that, and I'm happy to show it to you, especially with the Iron Man movie coming out, which I said for every Iron Man review this week. Either way, here it is. Including these thingies down here, he stands almost 9 inches tall, not counting those, about 6.5 inches tall. Like I said, he comes with all these accessories. We're going to pop them off because we don't need them on for the review. These are all translucent yellow plastic with orangish red paint on top to give it some shading. I believe it. I think that's how they made it. It might just be molded completely. It looked like there's some paint on there though, but either way, they're translucent. They look cool. This one pegs in for the gun, and then these are also translucent, and then the missiles are actually just painted, and so is the smoke. Mine's a little gray. It shouldn't be that gray, but it is. I don't know why. Okay, so there's that. We can also pop off the other accessories. I think this one comes off. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah, I think I must have just ripped that off for the other one. It does unpeg though. I don't know why. And I'm not sure if these are the right missile or the right ammo belt. It's been a while since I had this guy out, and I cobbled him together. I had to buy all the parts individually because at the time I was broke and I didn't have the money to buy a brand new one, but I had the body, so I bought all the parts. So anyway, he's got the missile thing, and that does pop off if you want it to. Yeah, we'll leave it on, but here's an example. I have another one sitting here. It just pegs in with that little peg. Pretty cool. The missiles are painted blue. The rest is not. It's black. And like I said, his face mask comes off. It doesn't fall off too easily though. And the face in here is actually sculpted after David Vonner. If you don't know who that is, look it up or ask, and I'll tell you to look it up because you're lazy. But that's who that is. It's not actually sculpted after any comic version of War Machine, but it's a pretty good sculpt. It looks pretty much like him, but even if it doesn't, it's still a good sculpt work with really good paint work, so that's fine with me. And then the face mask looks pretty cool anyway. As far as articulation goes, this thing has a hinge and a swivel. It's stuck though, so it doesn't want to swivel. And this spins, and then this just pegs in, so that's technically on a swivel also. But they're really too close to his head, so that's a problem for me. I think that's why I ripped this off on the other one that I had recently, but I don't know. Either way, the head is on a, I believe it's on a ball, not a ball hinge, but a peg and a disc, but I can't get it to look up or down or anything, so it might just be a peg there. And then the neck is also a swivel, so he's got just a swivel in the neck. I thought he had a hinge in there, but I can't seem to get it to go, so I don't know. If you buy one, look for it, but he may not have a hinge. It's the best I could do, guys. I'm sorry. The shoulder pads and the chest harness are made out of a soft plastic, but it's molded in a way that doesn't really allow for too much articulation. It does lift off on the back, but it's glued on the front, so you're not going to get a whole lot out of it. For the shoulders, just like the other versions of this body, they have the butterfly joint that let them swing forward. The armor keeps it from working though. He's got ball hinged shoulders, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. The elbow is kind of ugly, but it's not so bad for the Iron Man figures just because they're in metal suits, so it's allowed to look a little funny. He's got a wrist swivel with a little gun thing molded on there on both sides. And then he's got a wrist hinge and a finger hinge, and the whole, gosh, I cannot talk. And like I showed earlier, he's got a hole in his palm for the fire blast, which is pretty cool, I think, because I've always preferred figures that can display well. The problem is It's really only for like if he's flying, I think, because you can't flip his palm up high enough for him to look like he's shooting out of his palm. And it doesn't look like the right thing anyway, but what are you going to do? He's got this weird diaphragm joint that freezes all the time, and it's not that good. If you're familiar with Magneto or the other Iron Man figures, you know it swivels and it just kind of sucks all around. So you probably aren't going to use that too much. You will use the waist, which is also pretty junky. It's a ball peg, so it lets him lean forward and back and side to side and everything, but it's kind of like a funnel down here, and then this just sits inside, so it's kind of ugly, but it's not horrible. So once you get it posed, it'll be just fine. I wouldn't worry about it. I think it's fine. It gives him the waist twist and everything he needs. He's got T-jointed, kind of ball jointed or ball hinge hips. They're effectively the same thing. They swing out, they swing forward, and they have a thigh swivel, but they're actually a lot more like the new Hasbro Legends, like the Bucky cap or Wolverine, than they are anything else, but they are effective, and that's fine with me. He's got double hinged knees, a boot swivel, an ankle pivot with a big gap in there. You can see that gap, and that's because he's got a nice ankle rocker, which is always appreciated, and a toe joint, which isn't the best, but it is there. So he's got a good batch of articulation. Some of them aren't the best, and the armor does restrict it a bit, but this is an older figure, and it's got a lot better articulation than a lot of the figures we're getting lately, so I'm not going to knock it too much. And he's got all these nice accessories, so I'm going to say go ahead and buy this figure. Excuse me. It's a really good figure. Might be the best War Machine figure we've gotten, not counting the movie figure. So I'm happy to say go buy it. It's a cool figure. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, more custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.